You may not have one like this on your homework, but I want you to look at it anyway. Let's look at 2 8/10 times 10 to the 4th plus 1 3/10 times 10 cubed. Here we have addition. We cannot add numbers in scientific notation unless they have common powers. Now the 10 to the 4th and the 10 cubed would be the powers. They cannot be added unless they have common powers. One can only add things that are alike. So I need to get them to common powers. Now what I'm going to do is to express both of them having the larger power. So I'm going to get both of them to 10 to the 4th. So I'm going to leave 2.8 times 10 to the 4th as it is. But I need to write 1.3 times 10 cubed using exponent 4. Well, what happens if I do that? If I make this exponent 4, that means I'm going to have to multiply 10 to the 3rd by 10, because 10 cubed times 10 to the 1st would be 10 to the 4th. If I multiply this part by 10, in order to maintain equality, I would have to divide the 1.3 by 10. And if I do that, I would get 0.13. Now let me go out to the side and show you what I did. We've got 1.3 times 10 to the 3rd. Well, what I'm doing is, I am saying that's the same as over 1, and I'm multiplying both top and bottom by 10. Now multiplying by 10 over 10 is just the same as multiplying by 1. So I'm going to write it as 1.3 over this 10, 1 times 10 is 10, times 10 third times 10, which gives me 0.13 times 10 to the 4th. So that gets me to the exponent that I want. Gives me the power I need. So now I have like powers. Both of them have a power of 10 to the 4th. Now since they both have like powers, I keep the power 10 to the 4th and I just add the numbers. So take your calculator, do 2.8 plus 0.13 and you'll get 2.93. The answer is 2.93 times 10 to the 4th. Subtraction works the same way. I cannot subtract now. I must get common powers. Now I'm going to make them common on the larger power. Now the larger one is going to be 10 to the negative 2, because exponent negative 2 is larger than exponent negative 3. So I need to create a negative 2 here. Well, if I'm going to get an exponent of negative 2, that means I need to multiply by 10. Well, if I multiply by 10, in order to keep everything equal, I've got to divide by 10. In other words, I'm multiplying by 10 over 10, which is 1. So that gives me 0.517 times 10 to the negative 2. Now I have the same power. So I can just take my calculator and do the subtraction. So 0.517 subtract 2.14, and you're going to get a negative 1.623, and I keep the common power, so it'll be times 10 to the negative 2. Now I have some more exercises for you to do. I want you to evaluate each of the 4 expressions and write the answers in scientific notation. On the first one, you've got 89 with 5 zeros times 63 with 6 zeros. So it's 8,900,000 times 63 million. The second, 0.0000028 divided by 1400. The third one, 46 with 5 zeros times 52 with 6 zeros divided by 16 with 3 zeros times 25 with 6 zeros. Now I'm telling you the number of zeros because it may be hard for you to see it. I realize that's not the correct way of reading the numbers. But the important thing is for you to get it copied down right so that if you work it right, and if I did work it right, we'll have the same answer. The last one, 8 6/10 times 10 to the 23rd plus 9 1/10 times 10 to the 22nd. Once you've copied all of the problems, stop the tape and work the problems. Once you've completed your work, restart the tape to check your answers. If you disagree with any of these answers, be sure to check with an instructor or tutor.